Welcome back to Drive the Lane, the Ohio State basketball and football podcast. And we got some news, but more importantly, the Ohio State Buckeyes are 4-0. More importantly, the Ohio State basketball season is literally around the corner. We're getting practice clips, we're getting open practice announcements. We're in the month of exhibition games. So basketball season is fast approaching, but we are in the middle of what's looking like an absolutely dominant football season by Ohio State. We'll touch on the Washington game and the upcoming Minnesota game. But before we get to all that, we need to tell you all about our new presenting sponsor, Backer. Backer is a brand new brand making high-end gear for Buckeye fans. This gear is so sick, and you can literally feel the quality wear it when you wear it, as Joey is putting one of the hats on right now. And how about this? 10% goes back to supporting Ohio State athletes, which is something you definitely would have loved, Joey, when you were in school.
No doubt about it. But just to add on, Backer believes the best jacket in your closet should be an OSU jacket. And with the investment Backer puts into design and materials, this will be the last OSU jacket you'll ever need. And trust us, this will be the best gear you own. We have it, and we absolutely love it. It's comfy, it's cool. And as you can see on my head, it's freaking awesome.
And as you can probably tell, this is ad read number one with our new awesome partners. We're going to be absolutely crushing these ads. You'll hear a lot more from us and from Backer. But guess what? You're going to get free shipping thanks to us at Drive the Lane. Thanks to us and thanks to our friends over at Backer. Free shipping with code DTLSHIP at Backer.com. That's BCKR.com. Promo code DTLSHIP for free shipping. Speaking of free, speaking of shipping, the Ohio State team, anytime there's a spread within 30 points, it's free money to bet on them, especially when it's less than 10. And they are shipping this team all the way to the championship, in my opinion. I want to start with this. I truly believe if this was a 4-team playoff, Ohio State would be even more of the clear-cut favorite than they are, where it's a crazy year of college football. Washington isn't one of those teams that was necessarily talked about as like, hey, this team could make the playoff at this point, blah, 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 anything like that. But there's a lot of really, really, really good teams this year. And it's going to be difficult for Ohio State to potentially survive however many games they need to win. Versus a 14 playoff, it's two wins and you're the national champs. But I say all that, and we're sitting here, Ohio State's 4-0. They haven't even really opened it up yet on the offensive side of things. And the defense looks like better than last year that had 100, NFL draft picks, 4 defensive linemen drafted or whatever it was. And they just said, hey, we're just actually going to replace all those guys and they might even be better.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with Ohio State on defense, and really, it's it's crazy because you watch what happened in the Penn State game, and Oregon just put on a clinic. I know they blew it at the end, but I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards on our former defensive coordinator. Now Matt Patricia just decided, you know what? Let's give college a try, and I'll just be the best defensive coordinator in the entire country, and
Ever.
give every single one of my players the biggest hugs they've ever gotten in their life. Because everyone's talking about how much swag and aura he has. But what stands out to me as a former player is it's very clear that these guys love to play for him and would die on that football field for him. And they're showing it. Two guys that stand out in particular, and everyone would agree with me on the line. It's Caden Curry. He is, I don't want to say he's come out of nowhere, because if you're, a real ball knower, he is a stud. Everyone's a stud on Ohio State's team, but the expectations weren't for him to be Nick or Joey Bosa, and he's quickly turning into the biggest threat on that line. And then outside of the defensive line, Arvell Reese is cementing himself as the best linebacker in the Big Ten and one of the best in the country. He does everything. He is all over the field, and we've talked about him already on a show, but so incredibly impressive. I think that winning on the road is hard. Winning on the road in conference is really hard. Yes, Washington is not these world beaters. It's not the Penn States, the Oregons, the Michigans, the Indianas of the world, of the Big Ten. But going out west and doing what they did to Washington is incredibly impressive. Washington, yes, they had their chances to score touchdowns, but to hold that team that, they've got weapons and they're playing really good football. Hold them to the score that we held them to, and then to show up in the second half the way we did and basically get whatever we wanted to without, like you said, really opening it up or showing the half of the playbook. Really, really impressive, especially because every game is so important, right? As they try and win the Big Ten and get ready for Michigan, which feels like this is what this season really comes down to. But Ohio State goes from, a couple of cupcakes, some non-conference games. Yeah, maybe Texas stinks a little bit, but still, it's a big win. But Grambling State and
It's a
OU,
huge win.
of course. But Grambling State and OU, all right. And then they go out on the road and win a big game against Washington. But it turns into some real deal Big Ten scheduling coming up. Yes, you have Minnesota at home. Yes, you have Wisconsin on the road in there, but you've got Illinois and Penn State as two of the next 4 games as well. And I know Illinois got fucking their doors blown off by Indiana a few weeks ago, but last week they beat USC at home.
Yeah.
And so the Big Ten's got some impressive teams. And yes, Washington wasn't ranked, but I still, such a huge win. And Julian Sand continues to impress, at least in my book, in his command of the game, and where Will Howard was the best game manager Ohio State's ever seen, maybe outside of like JT Barrett, but JT Barrett he definitely slung it around too. Julian Sand is clearly more than capable of game managing, and you get a taste of the and flashes of the skill and ability that he has to throw the rock. And I just can't wait till Ryan Day and Brian Hartline kind of throw the kitchen sink at some teams here soon.
Yeah, I think a couple of things that are interesting. The first thing is I think it's okay if your quarterback is a little bit of a game manager when you have Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and all these weapons, because maybe you could say, hey, we should be airing it out. They should be airing it out down the field to Jeremiah Smith a little more. What, they win that game 35-6 then? Instead, it's like if you have
Washington's
a game.
good. Like they're good.
Right.
Their defense isn't great. I kind of thought we would throw it around the yard, but still.
But if you have a game manager that's, good and going to make the right plays, make the right decision, makes the right reads in his whatever he's at now, fifth start ever, it will be his fifth start ever against Minnesota. Like, yeah, that's fine. That's okay. You basically have a freshman in there, making his fifth start this week, and he's 4-0, gonna be 5-0, and they've had 2 big wins and 2, whatever wins. And I also think it's pretty interesting that, college football is so interesting because these guys who all won last year, they're gone. The 2 running backs are gone. You have Bo Jackson, who's like, hey, I'm awesome. Give me the ball every single time. You got Donaldson, who came from West Virginia. You got Carnell Tate, who's been waiting for his shot. You got the kid from Purdue, came from Purdue. All these defensive linemen who have been waiting for their chance. There's no Super Bowl hangover because, no offense to these guys, but they didn't win.
Yeah, Carnell Tate said in the
preseason.
I think it was Carnell Tate who said in preseason interviews, he's like, yeah, like this team doesn't give a fuck, basically, is what he said. This team doesn't care. This isn't the team that won the national championship. It's a completely different team. And it's one thing to be undefeated like Ohio State is. It's another thing to say, without a shadow of a doubt, they're the second most impressive team in the Big Ten so far this year, if not the first, right? Like, yeah, you look at the schedule and you think, okay, they beat Texas. That was the only game that was a question mark, maybe. But it's the way they've won these games where the defense is just so stellar, and the offense is figuring out a lot of things because they've got a brand new quarterback, and they still look really, really good while they're doing it. So I'm really excited about obviously the future of this team. Anyone with a pulse would agree. It's just the fact that this team has an identity already, be able to hang their hat on defense to the point where it's like, all right, Julian saying you don't have to be Superman. Not that there was an expectation that he would be. And Jeremiah Smith, it's okay if you don't have 12 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like you only need 14 points to win games because Ohio State's only going to give up 1 touchdown at the maximum right now. So
Well,
it's great.
and they're plus 500 to win the national championship, which would be interesting to see what the top rank, like what was Georgia in that last 14 playoff year? What was Michigan in that last 14 playoff year? What just would be interesting to see because obviously, like we said, it's a lot harder. But they're 25-point favorites in a conference game this weekend. I said this funny. We said this in a meeting with the guys at Backer, but like there's a chance they're a 10-point favorite against Penn State. And maybe that's overreacting a little bit, but Penn State looked really bad the first 3 quarters of that game, really three
Yeah.
and a half quarters of that game. So if they have a couple more, I don't, not losses, but disappointing showings before the Ohio State game, like it's not inconceivable that they don't have another non-touchdown line until maybe, or a line more than less than 7.5 points, whatever it is, until maybe the Michigan game. But like I, that line is always big. That's what it's been the last few years, and they've lost games that they were heavily favored in, especially last year. But like it's crazy that they are just running it back, and Scott Van Pelt said it. They're the Duke of football right now, where that sounded like, hey, they're the Duke of football. No, they're the Duke
Except
of
for we've won
football
a
right now.
championship in the last 10 years.
Right, they're the Duke of football though, where they're getting everyone's best, but like, are
Does it
they?
matter?
Right, doesn't matter, and are they? And I just want to say, Penn State picked the wrong quarterback. Bo Perbula is better than Drew Aller, and I'm so happy that Ohio State doesn't have to play Bo Perbula until potentially the playoff. I just want to sneak that in there. And
Ahmad Hardy, my pick to win the Heisman is unbelievable.
so we said a lot of stuff that was wrong, but you said Ahmad Hardy to win the Heisman, which was great, and I said, hey, watch out for this guy Bo Jackson this year. So those two takes we will brag about. We'll pull
How,
up the tape. But
how about while we're on the topic of Drew Aller, just quickly, one thing that I think is hilarious, and it'll hopefully this doesn't bite me in the butt, but I saw on Twitter the last 2 quarterbacks that Penn State has gone with, Drew Aller and what's his face who got picked up by the Bengals. Jeez, of course I was ready with the stat, forgot the guy's name, but
McSorley,
no, not McSorley. After McSorley, um,
Hackenberg,
not no, that was before McSorley. Anyway, and
I'll
then the
look it up.
next
We should know it, but I'll look it
the
up.
next guy that they have coming in are all Ohio guys, but none of them were really Drew Aller. Ohio State made a late push for Drew Aller, but they were all guys from Ohio that Ohio
Sean
State.
Clifford.
Sean Clifford, thank you. Sean Clifford now uh
What?
I can't I'm losing my mind. Sean Clifford, now Drew Aller, and then the guy who's coming in for them. They are all Ohio guys that were not wanted by Ohio State, except for the fact that Drew Aller, they made a late push for Drew Aller. But Ohio State didn't want them. So I think Penn State should find a new strategy other than going after Ohio quarterbacks that Ohio State doesn't want. That doesn't seem to be working out for them. That is my point that I wanted to make.
I mean, that's a great point.
Jeez.
Can't argue with it, right?
I don't think so.
So we joked about this heading into the season. I forget if we talked about it on the show, before the show, what it was, but like this is just a kind of a boring time of the year. And remember last year I was getting frustrated where I was just like, I just wish it wasn't boring. I wish they had a close game, this and that. I feel differently this year because I like seeing these newer guys kind of,
Yeah.
get going, and Jeremiah Smith, like they don't need to be tested anymore. Last year we were like they need to get tested, and they were in the Oregon game, they were in the Michigan game, and that's probably why they won the national championship is because of those games. But now I'm just like fuck it, win every game by 25 plus and just take it all the way because like I I'm sure somewhere I could find the hypothetical lines, but the remaining schedule just to run through it because you touched on it. Minnesota at home. Like, I mean, that should be a 30-point win. For, like, that should be a huge win at home.
Yep. Yep.
Illinois on the road. Illinois is going to give them their best shot. That's probably going to be the best Illinois Ohio State game in the last 10 years, whatever it is. I actually think I was at an Illinois game at Illinois when they beat Ohio State when I was like 7 or something. I'm probably getting that wrong. But then Wisconsin, then a bye, then Penn State at home. That's the next game that you really got to get up for. And then you don't even have another game until Michigan. And those games are so spread out this year. There's 3 games in between. So maybe one of those games we're gonna be sitting on the pod and basketball season's gonna be in the thick of things, and we're gonna say, this is a trap game, Rutgers. This is a trap game, Purdue. But what we're probably going to be sitting here saying is Ohio State basketball is 3-0, Ohio State football is 8-0.
Who's going to lose first?
Who's going to lose first? All that kind of stuff. So before we kind of pivot out of football, and like we said, this is the time of year where it's just like, yeah, the Buckeyes look good. What?
Yeah, Ohio State won another football game, and Ohio State basketball is practicing.
Right. So that's what's going on right now. Can I ask you a way too early, and it might not even be way too early, and just give me names, not reasoning, who's your day one starting lineup for Ohio State? Who's the Ohio exhibition game starting lineup?
I love this question. It's crazy it's so fun to talk about hoops. I actually am going to UIC Media Day on Friday, so hoops is right around the corner. But my starting lineup right now, if there's a game tomorrow, it would be Bruce Thornton, Junie Mobley, Devin Royal, Brandon Knoll, and Christoph Tilley.
We are going to do a super, super deep dive of the roster, the schedule, the Big Ten, the games that they're going to have. I just real quick, am I crazy in thinking that this is just the most unbelievable basketball schedule ever? I don't know how deeply you've looked at it, but they play like 100 crazy cool games this year. And I know, the new Big Ten. Okay. Just throw your fingers up for me.
Okay.
Notre Dame, Illinois,
Illinois is the second one you said?
Well, in order. Notre Dame, Illinois, West Virginia, North Carolina, Oregon, UCLA, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan, Virginia, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, Indiana. Like I know, it's a Big Ten season, but also, hey, February.
Every 1st, Big Ten team and then West Virginia.
But what's crazy is these are the 2 things that I think are unique. One, sure, fuck it, Virginia in February. Let's do it. I think that's great.
Love it.
But the other thing, too, is I didn't say Iowa, USC, Penn State, Washington. Like the Big Ten is just so great for basketball. And we talk about this all the time. But I think it's pretty crazy that they're playing all in the same year. Virginia, West Virginia, Notre Dame, North Carolina, and then all those Big Ten teams. Like those 4 non-con games are awesome.
Yeah, it's listen, man, you ain't got to tell me. I'm so fired up for this basketball season. It's do or die for a lot of it's do or die for the staff most likely, and it's do or die for Bruce Thornton, where if he wants to be, no offense, a real relevant Buckeye and not just the stat Buckeye, he's got to make that NCAA tournament and do something about it. So I'm really excited for this year. And we even got a little sneak peek of practice via the head ball coach, Jake Diebler, who put out a couple highlights of, just to give the fans a taste. And man, did it get me excited because I've seen them a bunch, but it's nice for the public to kind of hear all the stuff I've been talking about, like Christoph Tilly bringing the ball up the court at 7 foot, Devin Royal slashing for lobs, Tayson Chapman with a cross court pass to Gabe Cupps for three, Bruce Thornton running the show. Like, you don't even see a Junie Mobley three or a Colin White dunk in there. Like,
maybe they forgot he can shoot.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. I know basketball season's right around the corner, and we'll talk to you guys a lot more about that. But man, I think it's going to be a fun crossover moment where Buckeye football is really doing something special, and Ohio State basketball is off to a good start.
I did just look back at last year's equivalent to those games I just said was Texas, Texas A&M, Auburn, Kentucky. So comparable, but because it's a new year and we're getting excited about it, I'll take this year's.
Happy New Year, by the way.
The same to you. So just to wrap things up and, put a bow on it. The football team is rolling. Basketball's right around the corner. We've said those exact words 6 years in a row. 6 seasons in a row. 2019, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7. That doesn't make any sense. 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This isn't our 7th season. It's our 7th season to Drive the Lane.
I graduated in 2019.
19, 20, 21, 19, 20, 20, 21.
Year out.
23. Let me try and count it. Set 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26. This is our 7th season of Drive the Lane. I'm doing something wrong. I'm counting something wrong. I have to be.
I don't know what to tell you.
This is how we're going to look at it. And we're going to figure it out right here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our 7th basketball season that we've covered.
Wow.
I have an unbelievable question for you.
Okay.
What game was the first basketball game that we covered as a Drive the Lane tandem? Did they win the game? And who's the team?
Of course they won the game.
Are you sure?
The first game would be the Carmen's Crew championship game.
Not counting that. So the first game, I'm just going to tell you. This would have been your first game, not as a player.
Cincinnati.
Correct.
At home. And I was there.
And they won.
Yep.
Who was the leading scorer? I'll give you a hint. He was also the leading rebounder.
Caleb Wesson?
No.
Kyle Young.
Correct. Who led the team in
assists? My first guess
was
going to be, I was about to say Kyle played a great game.
Who led the team in assists? Hint. He had 2. Probably a career high for this guy at Ohio State in assists.
Luther Muhammad.
No.
Dwayne?
DJ Carton.
DJ Carton.
All right, final question. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. What game was canceled that year that was then the final cancellation? No more basketball after that.
Illinois?
No, it was the Big Ten tournament opening round game.
Oh, Purdue.
How the hell do you remember that? No, you have it pulled up.
No, I don't. I got ball knowledge, bro.
I'm just kidding.
I can tell you every game. I could tell you every game from my 4 years for sure. That I could do.
All right, 14, 15. That was not your first year.
How much fun is Ohio State sports right now?
15, 16. Okay. Who was your first game against?
So my first season.
Yeah.
The very first game. Exhibition?
No. Wait, I think this might be wrong. Your first year was our first year in college was 14, 15, right?
No. We graduated high school in 2015, doofus.
So they've
I remember the second game was against Robert Morris because I played. Right? No?
no Grambling.
Grambling. It's always Grambling.
Always. That's so
What was
weird.
the first game? Grambling?
Mount St. Mary's.
Mount St. Mary. That red and I had red and blue in my head.
Who was the last game? Who was your last win against that year?
Akron.
Yeah.
Last game was Florida.
Yeah. I remember watching that.
Right before that was we lost to Michigan State. We beat Penn State. We lost to Michigan State.
God, you guys sucked your first 2 years.
We really stunk my second year.
Yeah.
I think I could rattle off going backwards just that first year.
Robert Morris was the first game of your junior year, by the way.
Oh, right. And they had what's his face? Great shooter, number 10.
This is crazy. So like your first year, and then we'll wrap up this episode. Your first year, it was like such a mix of random guys that were the leading scorer in games. Your second year, same thing, but a lot of Jay Sean Tate on there,
Yeah.
a little bit of Loving. Then 17-18 is just like every game. Kata Bates
Kata.
up. And
I
then your
could definitely
last year, a lot of
I mean, like I can walk through every game of my senior year and tell you close game, not a close game, who played well for sure.
was Tyrese Halliburton on that Iowa State team?
Yeah, two for 7, 2 assists.
That's great. That's kind of sick. You don't talk about that enough.
Halliburton, Horton Tucker,
Do you
Mariel
remember when we were
Shayok.
on? Do you remember when we were on the airplane on the way to my bachelor party and we were just like talking about shit like this across the aisle? We weren't even next to each
Yeah,
other.
and your friends who I hardly knew were like, "Who is this guy? And why is Andrew only talking to
They
him?"
know you. What are you talking about?
I know.
All right. Let's wrap this up. Check out Backer. Free shipping. DTL ship is going to get you free shipping at backer.com, bckr.com. The gear is sweet. Check it out for yourself if you don't believe us. It's football weather gear. That's for sure. We should include that in the beginning. But it's also basketball weather gear. You're walking from, your place on High Street, or you're walking to the bar if you're in the same stage of life as us in Chicago. Walk into the bar, walk into your podcast co-host place to watch the game,
When's the last time you went to a bar, Andrew?
to watch an Ohio State basketball game.
Just to watch it,
Probably
just to
never.
go. Just to go.
I went to a bar last weekend.
Okay. He's married to everyone.
Yeah. Just because you went out late this Saturday doesn't make you any better than me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Buckle up. Drive the lane.
Go Buckeyes. Beat those Gophers.